Everybody loves a perfect theme song, a melody that stays inside your heart. You might have a nice show and others may think so, but if you want a great connection right from the start, then you gotta have a perfect theme song, so everyone can sing along from home. And while they are singing, the ratings you'll bring in, all because the melody is stuck in their head. You can make the bridge sound Jewish, that would be fine, long as it's familiar but newish. Everyone's falling in line, all because you got a perfect theme song, accompanying the audience for years. And when the show is over, it won't be the end, because the perfect theme song's a life-lasting friend. And speaking of friends, here's your host and MC, 'cause Mondays with Marcus is now a live stream. Whoa, 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 yeah. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mondays with Marcus, a live stream of consciousness. I am your host, Marcus Goldhaber. It's lovely to see you and to connect with you in this strange way, which still is strange for me. And I hope you had a great weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms who are watching today, and I hope you all had a beautiful weekend and got to be celebrated and praised and lavished with love and time and attention and gratitude. I normally like to start off the show with giving you a little bit of an update on a story we've been following, and about planet Mars. But this week I'm going to postpone my updates for you. I know. I'm sorry, but I will make it up to you, and it's for good reason, though. Today, I have a special guest that I'm going to be welcoming in soon. But I wanted to just first report that I'm very excited this week, as I got vaccinated I got my second shot last week, and went through. I had the Moderna shot and went down for the count. It was a doozy. And so now I'm in that stage where my body mapped it all out and developed all those white knight soldiers who are ready to go to battle, if need be. But it's been a transition of sorts, that to now, walk outside and still wearing the mask and still, cautious and whatnot, but to know that there is that extra level of protection working now inside me. And so I just wanted to give a shout out to any of you who are about to go through that transition, or went through it, or and are having your own experience, whatever that is. It's okay, and I'm sending you lots of love and support and encouragement, and I hope that you find peace and compassion along your journey. So that's the newest bit for me, and we've got such a great show planned for you today. I'm very excited. The Mother's Day edition. So we're going to get right to why it's the Mother's Day edition. But actually, first, I do want to introduce to you my teammate here, who I'm not going to bring in too long, but throughout the show, you hear me reach out or call out to Seth, my teammate, partner in crime here, who gives me a lot of incredible tech support during the live stream. And I just, you hear me say his name so often, and I'd like you to see his face too, because he's a beautiful human. And look, just like that, here is Seth. Seth, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing all right, Marcus, and you?
I am doing well. I promised before, during sound check, I was not going to smother you with questions too much, because, as you told me, you also got your second shot, but not last week. You got yours today.
Indeed, my second Pfizer today.
So we're gonna take it easy on you here at the conversation and let you kind of be audio only today. But I just wanted to bring you out here for a quick second, just to throw some love and support your way, not only for everything you've done since we started the live stream here, but also during your recovery period right now, and transition into a heightened sense of state of immunity and protection. And so whatever that process is for you, Seth. we're all pulling for you to come out stronger and feeling at peace. So now, many of you celebrated Mother's Day yesterday. I did as well. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to be with my mother in person. Normally, I'm able to head up to Boston and see her. This time around, I was not able to. But she had a wonderful day, I'm told, with my sister, and I got real jealous. And so I said, you know what, Mom? What are you doing tomorrow at 5:30? She said, well, I normally have plans watching this show on my computer. And I said, well, skip the show. And why don't you come on, whatever it is? I don't know what she's watching. But I said, skip the show and come in and say hello. So twisted her arm and she said, yes. So please welcome to Mondays with Marcus, the woman who started it all for me, Marilyn Goldhaber. I call her Mom.
Hi.
Hello, Mom.
Hi, honey.
Happy Mother's Day.
Well, thank you so much. This is a real treat.
It's an absolute treat for me too, to have you come in and say hello. No one knows this, or very few people know this, but when we were first, testing all this program out in the series and in rehearsals and whatnot, you were the first guest that I had, and you came in and helped me figure all that out,
An
and
honor.
so it all starts where it all began.
Yeah.
Uh, so so how are you feeling? How's your
Good.
day? How was your Mother's Day?
Wonderful. It was great. It only missed you,
Oh, well, I missed
but
it
it was
too.
fun.
Oh, well, I'm so glad. I know we got to connect, similarly to how we're connecting now. We had a good amount of screen time,
Mhm.
and you had a cookout that I missed. But but I'm glad you had a good time. I wanted to bring you on also because I spent all day yesterday celebrating you, as I do every day. And I just thought it's not fair that the folks at home, uh, it's not fair for the folks at home who don't know the many talents that you bring to the world, not just being uh, an, an incredible mother all day, every day for my entire life and my sisters too.
Thank you.
Um, but you also are a piano player. You also are a potter. And those two skills, I think, are underappreciated perhaps by your public, your adoring fans.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yes.
so I thought this might be fun to invite you on to share that side of your life with everyone, and not only as a piano player, but a songwriter. And so and we've also had the chance to collaborate on some songs. Now, um,
Yes.
I'll ask you one question about your songwriting because I think it's unique and beautiful and special. So the one question I have for you is, when did you first realize that you were a songwriter?
Well, I think I first realized it when I was in the sixth grade, and I was actually in love with someone, and I wrote a song about him. And it was fun, and I loved doing it. And then I didn't write anything else for many, many years.
I don't even think I knew about this sixth grade love song that you wrote. Do you still know it?
Of course. Ready?
Oh, wait, and you just happen to be sitting at the piano. Okay. Wow. And that now did so you wrote that
I haven't played that in a very, very long time.
in the 6th grade. I love that. It's very pure and innocent, and, I can almost picture the 6th grade version of you. Wow, we're gonna have to do something with this song. I mean, you don't have to share, but were there lyrics?
Oh, yeah. And
Oh.
I won't share.
Wow.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
there are lyrics. Uh-huh.
okay,
But
well, we'll save that for the post-show
yeah.
concert then. We'll have that and maybe we'll get you maybe we'll organize a live stream just for you,
Oh,
um, for that. Well, alright, so let me give the stage over to you because, y so years and years later when you started writing, um, your own stuff once again, I suppose, picking up where you left off. Um, that I mean, I grew up knowing you were as a piano player of the standards, and that's how I, learned all this music. And you just were always playing it in the house, and
Mhm,
so you'd call me over, as you know. I'm telling you like you don't know this, but so you would call me over and you taught me all this stuff just to have around as to accompany my life, in my childhood,
mhm,
as it was how you grew up with grandpa playing these songs and grandma playing these songs for you
yeah,
on
mhm.
the same piano. So when but I didn't know you as a songwriter, and I don't think back then you really knew yourself as a songwriter. So when did that click for you? Um, and or what made you realize, oh, I write songs?
About 20 years ago, when, of course, the history, Grandpa broke his ankle, and I moved in to take care of him. And it was a very lonely job because I didn't know anybody in Boston anymore. And so I just sat down at the piano one day after a particularly difficult afternoon, and I just doodled around and wrote something. That's how it started. And I
That's
don't
beautiful.
intentionally sit down and write music. So it just has to happen that I sit down at the piano and I feel like something and I write it. I don't write it, I play it because I don't write music.
Right. But it comes to you from a very beautiful place, and I know your process is so organic. So, um, and that translates into your playing seamlessly. And I
Thank
say this
you.
all the time, but I'll say it here now again. I've never met anyone or heard anyone that plays
Oh,
with your subtle, soothing touch. And
thank you.
you've got that, as I wrote in the opening number, you've got that sound that is it's familiar but newish, and it just so without further ado, I'd love to introduce you all to my mom on this Mother's Day edition, Marilyn Goldhaber, the songwriter, as she plays one of her own songs.
Thank you.
Beautiful, just
Thank you.
beautiful. Everyone is applauding at home right now. I would applaud
Oh,
if you came
thank
to my
you.
home. Wonderful. Beautiful, Mom. Well, thank you so much for coming in to
Thank
say
you for
hello. It's
inviting me.
extra special. You really I wouldn't be here at all if it weren't for you. And
Thank
literally doing anything that I'm doing right now, it all comes back to you. So I appreciate your love and support and everything you do. I did mention before that you're a potter to the folks at home, and that's not just a hobby. I know you say it's a hobby, but I happen to have a little show and tell here. That this stuff is for real. So this is one of my mom's pieces. These beautiful cereal soup bowls. That she made, and I've got a set of these, and I also have here you didn't know I was gonna do this.
No, you're full of surprises.
These are the little salad plates, um, and it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous design, and of course, pièce de résistance, dinner plates to accompany. So you get the full set here. Um autographed as well. Um, but they're lightweight and seamless and beautiful, and I highly recommend that you check out my mom's pottery. Now, how can you do that, you may ask? Well, Seth, I think we've got a little graphic there. Oh, look at that. Now, a few years ago, I put a website together for my mom. It's potterybymarilyn.com. And as you can see, she has millions of other pieces and that are available. And that graphic up there of her at the piano, she's been doing a gig every Thursday night up in Framingham at this Chinese restaurant for the past 21 or 2 years now, almost. And the it's every Thursday night. So they'll reopen again soon and have her back as soon as it's safe and everything like that. But in the meantime, please head on over to my mom's website and check out her collection and let us know if you're interested in everything. And she also does commission work. So there you go.
You're great agent. Thank you.
All
Wow.
right. Well, I take no commission, so I guess I'm not a great agent. Anyway, my commission is your success.
Oh my.
So I love you. Happy
Love
Mother's Day.
you.
Um,
You're the
and
best. Thank
and
you.
you are the best, and I will see you again shortly. Have a good rest of your night.
Thank you. This was so much fun. I love you.
I love you too. Bye-bye. Oh, moms are the best. Moms really are the best. Well, thank you all so much for your lovely notes as well that are coming in the comment box. I know I see we got Scott Barbarino back in the house today. Hello, Scott. And Andrea Wolpers here, wonderful musician who's going to be joining me later on at the end of this month. And Oh, it's cute. She put in an applause emoji, or so she thinks. I don't know either, Andrea. I'm in the same boat as you. But the thought and effort is there and appreciated and full of love. And my dad's tuned in. Hello, Dad. It's a family show here. So, few quick things to get to before we bring in my incredible guest today. And we've started a couple of new things here at the show, and one is called Silly Screenshots. What are silly screenshots? Silly screenshots are just that, giving you the opportunity to take a silly screenshot of me during the show and send it on over to me with a meme if you'd like. If you'd like to meme it, as if you'd like to do, you put something. If you don't know what it means to meme something, you're gonna have to look that one up. But you can meme the photo if you want, send it on over, and we will feature it in the following week. So what you want to do is you're going to send that screenshot over to I love Mondays with Marcus at gmail.com, which I think we have. Hey, look at that. Seth, you're amazing. So you can send that photo over to I love Mondays with Marcus at gmail.com, and we'll pick the best one and feature it during the following week's show. And now it is time for Name That Verse. Okay, folks, so what is Name That Verse? Well, the American Songbook is full of amazing, beautiful music, and a lot of these songs have verses before the song, technically the more familiar side of the song, begins. And many of these verses have been lost to the history books because artists usually tend to focus on the more the more popular part of the song, or if there wasn't a lot of time on the radio to play the full song. And most of these verses were also written to help give context to the song. And, or if they were mostly from a movie, as they were incidental music or lead in music to help set the scene. I happen to love the verses. And when I started performing in my shows here in the city and traveling around, I really gravitated towards including a lot of these verses in my shows. And it's a fun moment too for the audience tuning in if they don't recognize the verse to then immediately recognize the song as soon as that starts. So I thought it'd be fun to have that moment here in the show. And what we're going to do here is I'm going to play the verse for you for this song, and you're going to have the rest of the first part of the show to guess what the name of the verse, what the name of the song is. And the first person who guesses it right will get a free Marcus Goldhaber CD, and I will make a donation to Samaritans in your name. Samaritans is a beautiful organization with a mission that is dedicated to suicide prevention. And I love the work they do. I love their entire team and family. I ran the Boston Marathon with my sister for them, and a few years ago, and we raised a bunch of money for them, thanks to a lot of your support out there. And they have a lot of wonderful and helpful activities throughout the year that strengthen the outreach to people of all age who are struggling with mental illness at all different levels. So I urge you to check them out anyway, regardless of whether or not you win Name That Verse. But without further ado, I will give you one clue here for this song. It is a very well-known song, but not a very well-known verse. And it was written in 1938. Here you go. The more I read the papers, the less I comprehend the world and all its capers, and how it all will end. Nothing seems to be lasting, but that isn't our affair. We've got something permanent, I mean, in the way we care. That's all you get, folks. And if you, oh, look at that! Right away, we have a winner. Well, let's roll. Let's end Name That Verse. That's well, how about that? And just like that, this is what you get when you get musicians who know the American Songbook playing in here. So yes, we have a winner right away. It is Miss Andrea Wolper, whose guess is correct with Love Is Here to Stay. And you are correct. It is Love Is Here to Stay, not Our Love Is Here to Stay. And usually I wait until the very end, but since the answer came up right away, I thought, why not? Let's just get that going. So Andrea, you're the winner. You will let me know which Marcus Goldhaber CD you would like, and a donation shall be made in your name to Samaritans. Well, folks, and Scott Barbarino, yes, you got the right answer as well, but you just didn't type fast enough. Andrea beat you to it. You guys can duke it out later. So this brings us to our guest today. This is an amazing human being that I wanted to have on the show for a while, and he is a guitarist, a composer, a teacher, an arranger, a producer. His styles range from Brazilian to classical music and jazz and blues, and I mean pretty much anything. His credits are a mile and a half long, so I can't share them all with you right now, but he's been a part of the Mingus band. He's been a part of the Ben Riley Quartet. He's been a part of the Monk Legacy Septet, rather. And anyway, his credits are large, and he's recorded and worked with almost every singer that I know, and including Sheila Jordan and Kate McGarry and a whole host of others, Dee Dee Bridgewater. Anyway, this gentleman is a genuinely generous human being with a gigantic heart. Please welcome to the program, Mr. Freddie Bryant.
Hello, hello.
Hello, Freddie. We're working on the sound cue so that we can get uproarious applause when you enter the room, and you know all the screaming fans and whatnot, which is what I know you are used to.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
you know,
especially recently.
yeah, especially recently. Oh, Freddie, how are you?
I'm pretty well actually. Thank you very much, and you
Oh,
look great. And great to hear your mother and see your mother. Uh,
yeah.
Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you. Thank you. I will tell her you said so. And it's actually a good segue because I did want to start off by letting people know about your fabulous mother as well. And I wanted to take a second before we dive into you and who you are and what your life has been like to celebrate your mom a little bit in honor of Mother's Day, and let the folks know who she was. And I'm going to read a little bit, just so I get it all right and whatnot. But I do want to single out the fact that she and I almost share a birthday,
Oh
which I
really?
thought was fun. Yeah, I was born on September 13th, and unless I read incorrectly, your mom was the 14th.
Yes,
So
exactly.
that's fun. So fellow Virgo, which that explains it all to me. But so all right. So if you'll indulge me for a moment, Beatrice Rippey Hollister, or Miss Rippey as she was known, was born on September 14th, 1930. She was an award-winning singer. She traveled the world throughout her career, performing both solo concerts and with symphony orchestras in many operas, including the title role of Madame Butterfly. She was the featured singer in I Too Sing America, which is the celebration of Paul Robeson. And she shared the stage with the legendary Cab Calloway. That's incredible to me. And there's a lot more to your mom. And if she were still with us, perhaps she would say, and this is me ad-libbing here, that one of her greatest achievements was, of course, being the mother of Elizabeth Hollister and guitarist Freddie Bryant. So that's what I have, and I think we have a picture too to throw up, Seth, if we can, of Freddie's mom, and that's her at a couple of different stages in her life and all of her beauty, and your father was also a musician, a pianist, and her accompanist, and lo and behold, that's her being accompanied by your father at one stage, and I think we have one more um, at another stage. So all right, so here we are. You come from these incredible parents that are filling your house with uh, so much music and love,
Mm,
and so I want to speak to the smile that's on your face right now,
mm.
and tell me what that was like growing up in a house full of such music and also I buried the lead here a little bit, but your dad played not only for your mom, but he also played for Paul Robeson too,
Paul
right?
Robeson and Robert Merrill, the voice of the Yankees, and Robert McFerrin Sr., father of Bobby, who was one of the first black men in the Met,
Wow.
and lots of other people, including Yasha Heifetz.
Really? Oh, my
Yeah.
dad's gonna love that. My dad's a big Yasha Heifetz fan. The all right, so tell me what it was like growing up in a house full of such music and all of these dynamic personalities all around you.
Well, it was wonderful. I would come back from school at around 3:30, 4:30, depending on whatever I was doing after school. And one of them would be teaching, usually it'd be my father, because he'd be staying home and coaching singers. He was actually my mother's coach, and I found old little notebooks, basically building her repertoire, all her lieder, her German songs, all of her French chansons, all of her Italian arias, and Yiddish songs, and Russian songs, and Hebrew songs, and every once in a while a song in well, I think she did at least one song in an African language, but so so they would be teaching. I would hear this music coming in, as I came in. I tried to be quiet. Sometimes I'd sneak as far as I can get into the room until they say, "I see you there, Freddie."
And so did you
And
know
one of the things I loved doing was sitting under the piano, just like sitting under and hearing the huge amount of sound you hear under the piano. You
Oh,
know,
wow. I can
yeah.
see that. Oh, I wish we had a picture of that. Did you see this happening and as you were sneaking around or hiding under the piano, and did you always know, did you say, "Oh, this is where I belong," or "This is what I wanna do"?
Um, Well, I always liked music, and I would take piano lessons, and then I'd stop piano lessons, and I'd take piano lessons, and then stop piano lessons because my father played piano. But then when I figured out, I discovered the guitar. I stayed with that. It was a little bit more my thing. And even though my father wasn't a tiger dad, he
Hmm.
wasn't cracking the whip or anything. I guess I subconsciously felt, you know, the piano was his thing, and when I just sort of stayed with the guitar. They were very supportive with that. They gave me all these LPs, and I remember getting my first Carlos Montoya, kind of a flamenco guitarist, and then also Segovia. So those were the first guitar records I had there, from my parents. And then I, of course, always asked for like Michael Jackson or something like that, or the
Right.
Jackson Five. So my first, well, I had definitely, you know, I idealized Tito Jackson, who was always there with the guitar, and um, and then later on, I just started listening to '50s music and Chuck Berry and all that kind of stuff, and they were really supportive. Bo Diddley, I mean, they were classical musicians, but their repertoire bridged the gap from a German lieder, an Italian aria, all the way to show tunes and spirituals. So when you said that my mother performed with Cab Calloway, it was because she was the Serena in Porgy and Bess, and Cab Calloway was Sport and Life in that production in the 1950s. And are you from near Boston? So there's a really amazing Boston Herald, Boston Herald Globe kind of thing review, and yeah, so she was the best Serena that I ever heard, singing
Wow.
"My Man's Gone Now." And actually, I'm
Yeah.
going to share this with you because this is a video, the only one that I've posted so far of them performing, and it's a spiritual called "I'm Going to Tell God All My Troubles." And at the end of the song, or actually in the middle of the song and at the end, there's a humming part. And the humming part is very similar. It's a Hall Johnson arrangement, by the way. He's an amazing composer and arranger, accompanist. Also, he was, you know, colleague with my father. But the humming part is similar to the humming part in My Man's Gone Now, the original score from Gershwin. Um, in So that's, I mean, that's just immediately gets your throat, all clamped up,
Tightens,
and
yeah, tightens the
and you got a
clamps.
lump in your throat. You got
Totally.
amazing.
I've heard that the recording that I think we actually just put up the link too for people. They can get that from the comments box. If you're not paying attention, folks, please be mind, keep an eye on that comments box. We'll put all the links up there for you. Um, so you made this video of that song, which was so beautiful and meaningful, telling the story of your parents and the relevance of what you use the song as a way to engage people, to stay connected, to not let this racial awakening that has been happening in this country, not let it be a passing fad.
Mm,
And then growing up, I mean, your parents, they there was all this music and you know positivity and energy in the house while the civil rights movement was getting started. And obviously playing for Paul Robeson, I imagine had a pretty substantial impact on your experience as well. Uh,
Definitely politically, and growing up in New York in a very progressive place. Parents of African American and English, Scottish American ancestry, marrying in the 50s before it was legal in many places. You know, um, Definitely, we played at lots of. They played at lots of rallies and fundraisers, and so I was there in the midst of all that,
so what did that
and I
teach you,
started
Freddie?
I started turning pages for my father when I was 6, and
Wow.
and
Okay.
my father my it was actually my debut was in Town Hall, New York's Town Hall, 6 years old,
You know,
and
hey,
and
listen, if you got to start somewhere,
Well, I could read at that time, and so I could see when auf meine kleine Nacht, I could see all these words, even if I didn't understand them. I could coming in, and I could see when rests were, and when there were many notes, and when there were high notes, when there were low notes. So, but but of course, he was always would nod at the time that I was supposed to turn the page, and my his friend, his student, one of his elderly students of opera, said, "Oh, Freddie, great job! I saw you turning the page exactly when your father nodded." And I looked at my father with an evil eye. I was like, "Hey, Dad, you don't have to nod. I know when to turn the page." And and he was
Don't
like,
tell me what
"No,
to
don't
do.
worry. I not for anybody, because sometimes I want to turn earlier. Sometimes I want to see the last note. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So don't worry, because
sure.
I thought it was an insult."
How did that frame your journey as an artist and becoming an artist, knowing that like you grew up in a household where it was not only okay, but it was encouraged to use your art as a means of healing and for a motivator for social change. A lot of artists don't have that, and have grown up wrestling with, well, if I say too much, then I might rock the boat in a way that I'm not intending to.
Mm.
But I imagine that that was sort of just baked into the cake for you. It was like, oh no, this is what it means to be an artist. And there was never like, maybe, did you have that? Did you wrestle with that, or was it just like it like
No, I never wrestled with it. I guess I would have been the person that would basically talk about political music. Like I grew up listening to Inti Illimani, who and Victor Jara from Chile, who wrote amazing Andean music. And then I read Pablo Neruda, who was
Mm,
also in the same fight. And my parents they would sing Spanish Civil War songs.
wow.
So in the 30s it was big. My father was very old. He was an elderly man. He was born in 1901. So when he was a conscientious objector of the First World War, and then he was all gung ho anti-fascist for the Second World War. He said, "Let's not make this mistake. They can't win." So he wasn't quite a pacifist for the Second World War. But
Wow.
yeah, it was really interesting. So I was really one that heard 90% of the music I heard. I didn't understand the lyrics, because they sang in all these different languages. And I did appreciate the English lyrics and the spirituals, sometimes going to feel like a motherless child and all those. um, but it's a combination of just listening to the music, so that I ended up being an instrumentalist, not a singer. um, but the tent of music for me was, always had something to do with, changing the world. And one of our friends of the family was Pete Seeger. So this is kind of, and my parents knew Woody Guthrie. And so it was like, the mixture of classical music and folk music. And
Yeah, that
so they
answers
were
my
they were totally open to
that
anything,
yeah, that
except for
answers
when I told my mother that I wanted to be a musician. She said, "What? Didn't you learn anything from growing up in this household?" So, well, if you want to be a musician, I said, well, I either want to be a musician or an actor. She said, okay, you can be a musician, but you have to go and get a 4-year degree, and not at a conservatory. So I made that little deal with her, and I just kept going.
I mean, that answers my question, was going to be how you got into all these diverse styles. And that you not only are just dabble. I mean, you can tell when an artist dabbles in different styles, like they're exploring for their own purpose. But you have and I've received you as having a mastery of many different styles, and perhaps it's also speaks to what a great student of music you are as well, which I'll go out on a limb here, or not maybe even so much on a limb, to say is what probably makes you such an effective teacher as well. And and I've taken from you in loosely, studied with you. We went on that beautiful guitar retreat
Yes.
in Nicaragua, and then like now you can't go to Nicaragua in the same way really that we did. um, but uh,
Yeah.
but I experience you as such a nuanced teacher that I found it very accessible in the way that you approach your students.
Well,
And
thank you.
it's very easy, for me anyway, to feel intimidated, and maybe for any students to feel intimidated by a teacher who has such a robust, not only history and legacy, but also a current performing career. And maybe I was glad that I had played with you as a singer, and so
Yeah.
it took the intimidation factor down a little bit for
I
me.
hope so.
But then again, like when it comes to the guitar, I have so much respect for what it takes. Having studied now even more, just there's so much going on all at once. My instrument is piano, and
And
I'm
you were
grateful.
and you were playing guitar there in
Yeah,
the
exactly.
workshop.
Yeah,
Yeah,
oh, yeah, well, I just picked up the guitar for the first time, and I thought, "Well, this is the way I'm gonna do it," and, but I really needed to see what I'm playing in front of me. It's very hard to see what you're playing when you're,
yeah. You gotta
playing
look
guitar.
over here, over here.
Yeah,
You gotta
yeah.
get the bad posture
Um,
happening.
well, speaking of playing, I'd love to give you the stage here to play anything you like, and we'll talk about some projects that you got coming up and that you're working on now, and promote some of your stuff afterwards. But in the meantime, folks, please sit back and relax and enjoy the incredible guitar playing of Mr. Freddie Bryant.
Thank you.
Yeah, Freddie Bryant. All right. Again, cue applause track and screaming fans. I do want to share with you, we got Adam Ozinia chiming in here.
Whoa!
Yeah, hey Adam, nice to see you. And he says, yeah, Freddie Bryant, awesome reharm. I would agree. And of course, actually, before I read any more, that is, of course, Without a Song, the 1929 song by Vincent Youmans and lyrics by
Green.
Billy Rose and Edward Eldescu, I think, later on. What's that?
Okay. Never mind.
Oh,
I had it wrong.
what were
I
you gonna
thought I
say?
had it. No, I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah, man. I do that song. That's beautiful. That reharm that speaks to you. I mean, man, again.
The first one, the first half, and I hinted at the end was Joe Henderson's reharmonization that goes
Mm,
out into this weird key, and then the other one is the with all the crazy stretches, and that's mine.
beautiful. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, if people are interested in your arranging and producing, you did a lot of arranging with the singers that you've recorded with, right? Didn't you? You've worked with um,
Well, I have on my website a list of a billion singers that I played with.
billions of
You know,
singers.
and they've all various different kinds of collaborations.
Yeah.
So some of them I have the links to some songs that I've done with them. But other ones, I've just shown up on the gig and played, with people, their charts and everything. But I one of the singers playing her charts. Speaking of charts, very particular and very precise and unique and beautiful was Eliane Elias, the
Hmm.
Brazilian pianist singer. And so that was one person, but definitely I played her charts because her charts are just perfect. And but I love to arrange for, and I love to accompany singers. So it's
Yeah, it's
actually
clear, and
really
you're
fun.
you're a very beautiful and supportive to play with, and you can tell you have a great sense of the melody, and that's crucial, of course, as all these singers out there will attest to. Charles Gerard says, "Wonderful conversation. Your parents were brave to play with Paul Robeson. His peak skill concert caused a riot. It's a pleasure to hear you and your playing."
Yeah,
Charlie Gerard.
my my father was at that riot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Man,
I mean,
you're a
let's call it, it was a concert. It was a concert and rally, and then it
I was gonna say,
became a riot, but not at the request or desire of those people who, like Paul Robeson. It was supposed to be a peaceful event.
sure.
Yeah.
This is often the intention too.
Yeah.
Um, so I want to throw up some information about how people can support you directly and get a hold of your latest recording. This album, Dreamscape, is back 2018, I believe, release, and you can send money directly to Freddie Bryant with his Venmo there. You can check out all of his recordings at freddybryant.com. Follow him on social media at the following links as well. We've also posted them in the comment box. This album, Dreamscape, correct me if I'm wrong, Freddie, but this is a tribute to your parents, correct?
Yes, actually, really specifically my mother. And and I'm just sending a link to a song that is called "Songs," and it kind of refers. It's on the Dreamscape CD, and it kind of goes back to work songs and spirituals and the kinds of songs that I heard growing up. But it was written by me and based on a poem that I might read for you um, for my mother. I recorded this CD. Actually, it's not the latest one that out. The latest one was Monk Restrung,
Ah,
which
okay.
was actually recorded before this CD, but it came out afterwards. And so this one, that was like 2016, 17. And then the one before that was 2014. And so, um, and so that's Dreamscape. And I recorded it before my mother passed away. And I gave her this poem on Thanksgiving. And you want to hear it?
Sure, of course I want to hear it.
Okay, here it goes. So again, the song I sent in the link is called Songs and was written after this poem. When a mother sings, she breathes life into a child, life she already gave within through pain, hardship, and struggle. Our first lesson in survival. She sings spirituals that show us how, that speak of a power so great, yet can never be seen. Tales that are stronger in song than words in a book that can't be written. They're bound by her voice, that is the essence of music, sung and gone, and always there, like the chi she gives now in melody. Invisible song, as she holds you infinitely as a memory in your soul. Her soul she gave with the map to the North Star, a life force from food to spirit, a small ball of energy that grows and learns to walk a difficult path that ultimately must be a journey to joy.
Wow. Beautiful. Thanks so much for sharing that, Freddie. We're gonna take a quick little pause for an interlude here. You're gonna stick around as we have an after party coming up, and we're gonna hear some more you're playing and talk a little bit more about your music and where you are now. But
Okay.
yeah, exactly. Want to dig into that a little. But folks, if you'd like, if you'd like to support this series and what we have going on here at Mondays with Marcus, here's all the information about how you can support us directly. And of course, you got our Venmo and PayPal there, and our YouTube channel. So you can make sure and subscribe there. Many of you are watching from there right now, and a special hello to you if you are, and also to those watching on Facebook on either of those locations. And now, if you'd like to also take home some Marcus Goldhaber merchandise, as Mel Brooks says, it's all about merchandising. So here's all the information about that. I got a couple of albums out, 5 to be exact. And my website's right over there, where you can get a copy of any of those albums, as well as a t-shirt and hat that are associated with the Veterans Project that produced an album called Carry You On. And there's more on my website about that. But half of the proceeds from that album do go to benefit IAVA, or Iraq, Afghanistan Veterans of America. And they are a fantastic organization that you can also get more information about them on my website. Well, folks, here we are. You made it to the end of the first part of our show. Did you have a good time getting to know Freddie Bryant? I certainly did, although I already knew him. Next week, we've got an incredible guest coming in for you, and his name is Michael O'Brien, incredible bass player, and that'll be fun to chat with him. Don't forget, we do have an after party coming up in just a few moments. We'll dig into a little bit more conversation with Freddie, but first, we've come together for a moment today, young ones and some who would rather not say. Finding connection isn't easy, I know, and that's why I created this show. See you next week, unless you stick around for the after party. Bye-bye.
Everybody loves a perfect theme song, a melody that stays inside your heart. You might have a nice show and others may think so, but if you want a great connection right from the start, then you gotta have a perfect theme song, so everyone can sing along from home. And while they are singing, the ratings you'll bring in, all because the melody is stuck in their head. You can make the bridge sound Jewish, that would be fine, long as it's familiar but newish, everyone's falling in line. All because you got a perfect theme song, a accompanying the audience for years. And when the show is over, it won't be the end, because the perfect theme song's a life-lasting friend. And speaking of friends, he's your host and MC, 'cause Mondays with Marcus is now a live stream. Whoa, 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 yeah. Let's be foolish together. Let's go out in the weather. Let's go walking forever, just you and me. Let's see what we uncover. Let's both try to discover just what kind of a lover we both can be. If we can't agree to let each other see the fool that is locked inside of you and me, let's be foolish together, baby, tonight. Let's be wondrous together. Let's be thunderous whenever. Take my love, dear, and never let me go. I just want you beside me. I just need you to guide me. Show me all that's inside me. I need to know. You got me excited and I'm too delighted to settle down. You turn my world around. Let's be foolish together, baby, tonight. Do you believe this is real? Are you afraid of what your feelings may reveal? Let's be foolish together, not so coolish or clever. I feel light as a feather. Let's fly and free, yeah. Let's jump higher than ever. Let's make fire together, or just lie here forever, so happily. We don't have to plan or even understand how lucky we are. Let's hop into the car and be foolish together, baby, tonight. Mr. John Hart. Do you believe this is real? Are you afraid of what your feelings may reveal? Let's be foolish together, not so coolish or clever. I feel light as a feather, that's a flying free, yeah. Let's jump higher than ever. Let's make fire together, or just lie here forever, so happily. We don't have to plan or even understand how lucky we are. Let's hop into the car and be foolish together, baby, tonight. Ooh, baby, tonight.
baby, it's right. Baby tonight. All right. Welcome back to the after party here. Kill the Canyon, if you know what I mean. Uh, if we were in normal times, we'd be celebrating the after party live and in person at a place called Room 623, beautiful speakeasy jazz club that I launched back in 2019. And about a month before our 1 year anniversary, we had to shut the doors like every other club out there. But we have maintained our vigilance and are planning to reopen. I'm happy to announce, and I say that every week to make sure that the word does continue to spread. We are a small, cozy little jazz club. There it is right there. And that's just a little snapshot or a few snapshots of what it looked like in the club. And it's we're underground, and so we, like I said, we're pretty small, so we want to make sure that we open back up safely. That's all the information right there. They had our PayPal on our website in case you'd like to support us. That song that I sang is called "Let's Be Foolish Together." As a one that is a song I wrote back in I think 2010, and I wrote that song really just out of a sort of a goofy place. And just about being able to kind of let go of all the pretense that can sometimes be involved when people are just trying too hard in a relationship. So that's that tune. Of course, we featured Mr. John Hart on the solo there, John Davis playing the piano, and Martin Wind on bass, and Marcello Pelleteri on drums, who also produced that album that it was from called Almost Love. And that's available on my website. And can actually show it to you. Ta-da! This is what the album looks like, and it can be yours. What's a CD? What did you say? I'm kidding. You all know what CDs are. Anyway, so here we are at the after party, and speaking of room 623, my guest today has performed there, so please welcome back to the after party, Mr. Freddie Bryant, still with us today. Hello, Freddie.
Hello, hello.
Hello,
That was great.
hello. Oh, thanks, man. Thanks. I think of you often as a consummate goofball at heart too. So I
Yep.
appreciate, we got to stick together. So, you know, we're we're a protected breed. Uh, But all right, so you've been teaching during the pandemic. You've been making some great videos, teaching videos. We didn't get to talk about it in the first part of the show, but you back in February, you were part of a big Guitart festival.
Oh,
I
that's
did
right.
pronounce that correctly. Yeah, man, the GUITART Guitart Festival, and that was in Miami. And we got a couple of video links that will pop up to promote that and support that so people can check you out. They can also go to your YouTube page. If you search Freddie Bryant, really couldn't be easier these days. And you can watch, and actually when you click that link, it'll skip right to where Freddie starts teaching. And I think it's phenomenal what you've been doing.
Is that the workshop or the concert? There's two.
Both.
Oh, okay, great, cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're a full
Yeah,
service
the
operation here at
concert
Monday through
has
Market.
like
We
10
take care of our guests.
the concert has 10 minutes of promo for the festival before it, and then the workshop has 5 minutes of promo before the but anyway, it's cool.
Well,
I was very honored to be part of it, and you know it was for a classical festival. Actually, the guitar festival is like classical guitar festival, and so they opened it up to have Brazilian music, Latin music, flamenco, and jazz. And so I kind of did a little bit of Brazilian and jazz and classical as well.
the Brazilian stuff was fantastic. I watched it twice, and I'm sitting at home and I'm like, I got a cabasa and some shakers and whatnot, and I'm just trying to like, play along and have some fun.
Mm,
And
cool.
just missing that live vibe, and
Yeah.
I know we're getting close and everything, and everyone's moving at their own pace. Speaking of which, um, tell me what your pace was like. We're sort of in a similar sort of generational place, and so the shift into technology may have been similar for you. I'm curious what was that pivot like for you? Did you get hit with a kind of tidal wave of what was now newly expected of you, or did you go, oh, okay, this is what it is now?
Actually, I was very lucky because for about 5 years before, I'd been teaching through Berkeley Online. I teach a professor on campus there as well, but they also have an online program. And I was teaching through Zoom for 5 years before that. Um,
Wow.
they
So
might
this
have,
is no big whoop for you.
well, except for the fact that, there were definitely upgrades and things to learn, and I really hadn't been teaching through with an interface and with the microphones and stuff like that, because it was basic. It was just like, let's hear you play, here I'm going to play, and that was it. But I was used to being on screen. And then in the middle of last year in March, when they went 100% remote for all the on-campus people, I was, one of the people that was feeling pretty comfortable with it, and but that, but other things happened, like for instance, editing, video editing, and so I did a few
Right.
videos of, remote videos with Vanessa Falabella, great singer,
Wonderful singer.
and but then later on, I did I did some other ones with other singers. This great singer named Hiska in Holland, and but then I started to produce my own thing. Now I had to actually for that guitar festival, the FIU, Florida International University Classical Guitar Festival. So that was where I really, I'm proud of myself. The playing was, I'm happy with the playing. I'm happy with my video editing. It's like,
Yeah,
wow,
tell me,
because
man.
I could definitely mess up some technical things in my life. Over the years, I have messed up a lot of things, like just didn't press the right button, didn't do this. This time I had two cameras. I was going in with the microphones, and it edited, and
Right.
uh, and the workshop is fun because I actually recreated a lesson with my student in New Jersey, my Brazilian American student,
Right.
and we're playing bossa novas and sambas and jamming. But
Yeah, real
it's
time.
all produced. It really didn't happen that way. I
Right.
taught him, I recorded it, then he sent it to me, and I recorded myself on top of it, like re-asking the questions and putting it together. So
So now
it's
we're add that to your resume, and
yeah, yeah. So
Freddie Bryant, you know, editor
but every
extraordinaire.
time I try to do it, it's like reinventing the wheel. It's like, whoa, I
Yeah,
thought I knew how to do this, but just
right. It's a whole new. I mean, it's incredible the stuff that we've had to accomplish, and that you hit that moment of like, oh my gosh, I never would have in my life dreamed of going near this entire suitcase of stuff, and then you like you learn how to fold one piece of laundry inside that suitcase, and you're like, I'm amazing.
man,
Look what
yeah.
I can do. And it was, it's a whole new thing. Well, I want to, your your personality and demeanor is always, so just very welcoming, and you are, it's like Bruce Lee, right? You are like water. You're very, you've done it. You did it. You did it. He said do it. You did it. So, but you're a Tai Chi. I'm going to use this word, even though I know you might correct me, but I'm going to say you're a Tai Chi master. And I say that only because to me, I think when you have command of an art form of any kind, such that you are so seamlessly able to impart it to another person and have such meaning. And again, having been a student of yours in this capacity as well, I'm just speaking from my experience. That's how I received you. So,
Well, thank you.
and well, hey, thank you. Your
The
Tai Chi,
only
I know.
the only other person who calls me a master of Tai Chi is my wife. But no, I'm just joking. But I mean,
I know your wife, so
I
that's high
don't,
praise.
I definitely shy away from that term because it's a lifelong study and process, and I have been doing it for about 35, 6 years or something like that. And so it's so yeah, and my teacher, my master, who was like 99 when he died, um, he basically said, I'm going to teach you some stuff, and when you know it, you can start teaching. So I started teaching beginners after having studied for 5 years.
Mm,
So the process of his welcome and approach, which is very different than many traditional Chinese culturally, was, you know, if you have something, you can share it with somebody else, and you don't have to call yourself a
Mm.
master, but you have something and it's beneficial for other people, so share it. And
What a
that's what
great
I try
metaphor.
to
What a
do. Yeah.
great metaphor for life and everything that we've all had to newly experience simultaneously,
Right.
and how to deal with new challenges. Um, so I should interject here for a moment. I neglected to mention that this part of the show is open for Q&A. So if you do have questions for Freddie that you'd like me to ask or you'd like him to answer directly related to anything that we've talked about, and there's been a whole host of wonderful stuff you've had to offer today. But just go ahead and put that question in the comment section, and we'll flash it up on the screen. I know that there are a couple that have come up already, and I'd like to, if it's okay with you, Freddie, just go to one real quick.
Sure.
And it comes from someone who says he's my dad. I'm going to trust him on that one. But he's interested in the work with Maya Angelou. His question is, what was it like to work with Maya Angelou when you recorded alone? Um,
Oh,
so
well,
I don't know if that's entirely did you work directly with her or use her work?
no, I used her
Right,
work, and
right,
then I got permission from her to publish it. And
right.
so that original composition alone was like the third movement of a piece I wrote graduating college, actually, for it was my jazz thesis. And so even though I told my mother I'd go and get a 4-year degree, I went to Amherst College and got a 4-year degree and majored in music. But at least it was a 4-year degree,
Right.
and I studied English and sociology and political science, and I managed to avoid math and science. But other than that, I, I'm well
You and me
rounded.
both, kid.
But anyway, so this big concert with an orchestra of about 15 people and strings, string quartet, and amazing New York luminaries of from my generation, like Greg Osby and Michael Philip Mossman and Ralph Bowen, and Dennis Irwin was older than me. He had played with. He was one of my mentors. He played with Art Blakey
Yeah.
and so many other people. And so Dennis came up and played. Anyway, it was the third movement, and but the other, and I did one other poem for her in that, and it was Still I Rise. That's a famous one of hers.
Yeah, very famous.
And then the other movements were based on, one was a poet named Jackie Early called The Gospel Truth, and then a poem written by a student friend of mine. So it was it was really great to work with words, since I had never really put words to music, but this was music accompanying spoken word.
Mm,
And yeah, it was. I'm very proud of that piece. It's never been recorded. I mean, the piece alone has been recorded many times, and your father is probably seeing the one on YouTube that was a dedication to Maya Angelou when she passed, and it starts out with her picture, and so it's
mm.
easy. And I read the poem in that particular instance. But the first time it was recorded in 1991 was with my best childhood friend from Camp Kinderland, named
Mm.
Eric Mingus, the youngest son of Charles Mingus. And so he was the one who originally, it was a woman saying the poetry, but when we finally recorded it with my jazz quartet, my debut CD called "Take Your Dance into Battle," um,
Mm.
that was the first movement, "Take Your Dance into Battle." So,
Beautiful. Well, thanks, Dad, for that question.
hey, thanks,
Um,
Dad, for the question. Sorry, I rambled on for so long.
that's okay. That's all right. It's a live
Mhm.
stream of consciousness here. You
Oh,
see
there,
that
yeah, that's
it's
right.
right on. You knew that. It's right
Cool.
on brand. Right on
Uh,
brand.
that's good. I
Um,
feel better.
you should. And your Tai Chi, the reason I bring that up too is because I think that I imagine, and I don't want to project onto you, but I imagine that you've been calling upon that you've called upon that practice, especially during the past 14, 15 months. and I wanted to know if there were elements of Tai Chi that are part of your practice that you found particularly helpful, considering the more pronounced challenges that we're all facing with regard to the transition from isolation to emerging, and or the other way around at the very beginning, whatever
Yeah.
disruption you faced. Did you call upon Tai Chi, and if so, how did you do that?
Definitely, I call upon Tai Chi all the time, and sometimes yoga and meditation just by itself. But it's like a lifeline. So as as perhaps if I don't practice a lot, and pressure and stress and all that stuff build up. When I finally practice, it's almost always like, what the hell was I doing? Why wasn't I practicing? So it's almost like, you learn how to ride a bike and you can just jump on it. Once you do it, you sort of flow into it.
Mm.
So the Tai Chi, at my point, is really like that. It just sort of chills me out every time. It really focuses me, and I feel great after it. So so what's the excuse? Why wouldn't I do it every day? But of course, I am a human being, and my practice goes
Shh, don't
up and
say
down. But because I practiced it for 36 years or so, when I get into it, it just starts to envelop everything, and then life changes, and my perspective on life changes. So it's something that I know that I have there as a lifeline. That's really nice to know that it's there. And Also, I've been teaching a class on Sunday mornings on Zoom through the Tai Chi school where I've been associated for the last many years. Where they went to Zoom, and so every Sunday, it's great to be a teacher, because when you're a teacher, you have to practice, and when you're practicing, you're a student, and you're actually benefiting just like the students.
Mm.
So it's
Mutual
really
accountability.
my blessing that I have the obligation to get up every Sunday and teach. And it's a gift to me, as hopefully as well as to them.
Well, I know you incorporate it into all areas of your life, and I think we have a little a shot here of you on a very glorious, remote, exotic location practicing your Tai Chi, and and that this is of you, of course, floating on the water. I mean, Jesus had nothing on you.
I know,
You're
it's pretty
you're
amazing,
practicing.
those clouds on the sand.
Yeah, and then there you are, injecting your Tai Chi into your guitar into your Tai Chi, of course.
Yeah, those were two different workshops. That one there is in the hills of Vermont
Right.
at the Interplay Jazz Workshop, and it's great.
Yeah.
Sheila Jordan does that, and Jay Clayton, and a lot of other amazing instrumentalists.
Yeah.
And then the first one was in Costa Rica, and where we hope to return, and that's for guitar,
Right.
surfing,
Masara, right?
and yoga, and co-led by the founder of that wonderful workshop, Richard Miller, a great seven-string acoustic Brazilian player, and
I
so
studied with him as well, as you know.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. I do have one that's a Tai Chi and jazz workshop that's usually just about 6 to 10 students in our place in Western Massachusetts near Amherst, and that
Mm.
happens in the first week of August, but not this year. And then I also teach at the Interplay Jazz Workshop, where I sometimes throw in Tai Chi as well. And
Yeah.
that one is run. That's out. You can find interplayjazz.org. And but the Vermont Jazz Center, all these places, and Richard's Balanced Guitar Workshop, balancedguitar.com, all these places, they're really, you know, like like rejuvenating for all the students,
Mm.
but definitely for me, you know.
I'm sure. I'm
Yeah.
sure. Well, Freddie, listen, I'd love to hear you play some more. So I want to give you the stage back, and give us another tune, your choice, of course. Ladies and gentlemen, please sit back and relax and enjoy Mr. Freddie Bryant.
Well, thank you. I'm going to play an excerpt of a song that I don't really play solo. It's called Kaleidoscope, and it's kind of like what lent its name to my group, Kaleidoscope, which has influences of jazz and Brazilian and Latin and African music, and even at times some Indian and Middle Eastern music. But this one here is very flamenco-esque. And I studied flamenco guitar for my whole life. Actually, sorry, not flamenco guitar, but Spanish guitar, like, Rodrigo and so this it's a really a beautiful sound of the acoustic guitar, which is the violão in Brazil, but also the Spanish classical guitar. So here's a little bit of that song.
Freddie Bryant, beautiful brother. Wow, gosh, you are a hypnotizing guitar player in a good way. Happy
Thanks
to
for
be
the
hypnotized.
opportunity to play that. It's originally recorded live at Smoke
Beautiful.
with a sextet, I believe, or a quintet.
And that album is on your website, right? I
Yeah,
think I saw
yeah.
that. Yeah.
All my CDs are on the website with little excerpts, and
Seth,
then
let's
there's
toss that graphic back up again with all Freddie's info on there for people so they can have that information at the ready. It's also, of course, was scrolling across the screen and is in the comment box. So you can find out everything you need to know about Freddie Bryant and what he has coming up, all of his teaching and workshops and performances. And Freddie, my gosh, thank you so much for coming in today. It's been
thank
such a
you.
great chance to great opportunity to reconnect with you in this way and dig in a little bit deeper and have a chat with you. I can't let you go without the lightning round. So we have a lightning round for you,
Uh-oh.
especially just for you. So fasten your seatbelt and get ready to answer quickly. Are you ready?
Me?
Yeah, you. Who else? Who else
Oy
would I be talking to
vey,
right now?
oy vey. Okay, cool. Yes, I'm
Oy
ready.
vey, don't be nervous. I promise. It's not terribly intimidating, but you ready?
Okay.
Okay. You prefer flying or time travel?
Ooh, flying because time travel is a little bit scary.
Okay, we'll hear about all the explanations for the answers afterwards.
Okay, never mind.
Lightning round. Skydiving or deep sea diving?
Deep sea,
See into the distant past or into the distant future?
the past.
One snack food for the rest of your life.
Uh, bread.
Strangest food you would mix with your popcorn.
Strangest food I'd mix with my popcorn. I never thought about it, but Thai chili sauce.
I'm going to hold you to that one. Best food combination.
Best food combination.
That's right.
Oh my goodness. You know, grilled salmon and greens.
Great. I'll be over. What time's dinner? All right, last one. Favorite TV theme show song.
Oh man, Mission Impossible.
Nice. All right. So you grew up watching the originals.
Yes.
All right. Dating yourself. Freddie Bryant, you made it. Was that so hard?
That was intimidating. Can I change some answers? I don't know.
Later, you come back again, you can give a whole new set of answers. Of course, I may have a whole new set of questions for you at that point too.
Mhm.
Well, Freddie, thank you again so much for coming on the show here. I wish you continued peace and success in your journey. I can't wait to see you again. I also, before I let you go, I do want to share with the folks at home the last time that I saw you in person, which was when you came by the club with a beautiful trio. You had Donald Edwards and John Benitez with you. Seth, if you can toss that up there, look at that.
Oh, look at that.
We got that,
Nice.
and of course, we also had a little snapshot you and I had together. If you see the next one, oh, look at that!
Cool.
Look at that,
Yeah.
two
What's
lovebirds.
what's up with my hair?
I don't know what happened. That was, I guess you had dyed it salt and pepper for that
Yeah,
day.
I dyed it
But
salt and
now,
pepper. Now it's back to its
back
natural.
to its natural color. Exactly. It's stylish, brother. I love it. I love it. You gonna keep it blonde?
Well, when I turned 55, I figured that's half of my life. So, at least till 110,
And
maybe.
it's certainly cheaper than buying a Ferrari. So
There you go. I got a red guitar case though now.
there you go. Beautiful. All right, Freddie. Well, thanks again so much, folks. Thank you for
Thank you.
tuning in. Once again, if you'd like to support what we do here Mondays with Marcus, here's all the information of how you can do that. You've got our Venmo and our PayPal information. And that's important, of course, because it keeps us going. You know, we have wonderful support here on the technical side with Seth, and we're so grateful to have Seth here. And so it allows me to keep working with Seth and a whole other slew of activities that we plan, and to keep this whole stream going and keeping it active. So we appreciate any and all support that you can throw our way, and we hope that you stay in touch with us, and definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. I did misspeak earlier, and I want to make a correction. Next week's guest is not Michael O'Brien. He's coming later, and I think he's actually coming later in June. Next week is Amy Allen, an incredible singer, songwriter extraordinaire, and just a generally beautiful human being with a big heart and a beautiful mind. So you'll want to tune in next week, 5:30 here on YouTube or Facebook, to get to know Amy Allen a little bit better. She's going to be singing a bunch of her stuff as well. Freddie, I know you know Amy well, and give your thumbs up. And you both have a Boston connection too. I don't know if you knew that, but her brother lives in Boston.
Oh, that's right. I remember. Yeah, talking with her. Yeah,
guitar player as well.
I've had some great times playing gigs with her.
Yeah, she's the greatest. So anyway, it's been a lot of fun today. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you,
Andrea Wolper too.
And Andrea Wolper is going to be coming in. Yes, and she's been tuning in. She's going to be our guest on May 31st. If you'd like to know about our upcoming guests, you can get that on my website as well. We are putting together mondayswithmarcus.com, so that's coming shortly. Be sure to connect with me on Facebook and LinkedIn and all the other social media platforms, except for, I'm not on TikTok and Twitch. Full disclosure there. But we definitely look forward to connecting with you however possible, and mostly to see you next week. Folks, wherever you are, I hope that you continue to stay safe, stay compassionate, stay engaged, and extra belated Mother's Day to all you moms out there. And we'll see you again soon. Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Everybody loves a perfect theme song, a melody that stays inside your heart. You might have a nice show and others may think so, but if you want a great connection right from the start, then you gotta have a perfect theme song, so everyone can sing along from home. And while they are singing, the ratings you'll bring in, all because the melody is stuck in their head. You can make the bridge sound Jewish, that would be fine, long as it's familiar but newish. Everyone's falling in line, all because you got a perfect theme song, accompanying the audience for years. And when the show is over, it won't be the end, because the perfect theme song's a life-lasting friend. And speaking of friends, he's your host and MC, 'cause Mondays with Marcus is now a live stream.